Good morning, everybody. Let's get going with our work session today. Did want to make a quick announcement before we get started that there is a lot of road paving going on around here, and they're putting some tack down on the roads to the west of us that will really mess up your car if you go through it. So Deputy Winnick is going to, before we leave, he's going to let us know which way that we should go as far as trying not to get our cars all messed up and destroyed. And Commissioner Peters, Chair Peters, is at canvassing board. She may be able to join us later. She may not be able to join us. She's in the middle of counting 500,000 ballots. But she may want to chime in at some point here to give us an update on beach nourishment. I don't know if that's... Trying to log in now. Okay. All right. So just let us know when she's here, and then we'll allow her to do that. And I also want to recognize our newly elected commissioners that are here, Vincent Nowicki and Chris Shearer. Welcome, guys. All right, so first up, we have the 2025 Legislative Program presentation. So, good morning, Matt.
Matt, you're on.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, County Commissioners. Matthew Spohr, Director of Strategic Initiatives and Legislative Affairs. All right. So this is your proposed 2025 state legislative program. It will come back before you at your December 17th meeting for a formal decision by the Board of County Commission. I'm going to walk you through first the regular session dates. They begin next Tuesday. The organization session begins where they will elect officers, swear in new members, begin to appoint committees, things of that nature. Most of you are familiar with that process. The committee meetings will begin in December. The House begins on the 2nd. The Senate begins on the 9th. The Pinellas Legislative Delegation will have a meeting tentatively set for the public on January 9th. That they are finalizing that now, and then there will be a joint meeting with the Pinellas County Legislative Delegation and the BCC the end of January, January 31st. The session kicks off on March 4th, and it ends on May 2nd. So that is your schedule for the 2025 regular session. These are your guiding principles. They remain unchanged since 2022. In 2022, the last bullet was added, and I know there's a lot to read there, but in short, the last bullet talks about transportation funding, which we'll get to in a minute. But the guiding principles include protection of home rule. It includes opposition to unfunded mandates, support for our constitutional officers, support for housing, beach nourishment, infrastructure, arts and culture, and protection of our natural resources. And it also includes maintaining the integrity of the Tampa Bay water, which we all know is a very important partnership here in Pinellas and Hillsborough County.
Hang on, Matt. Did you want to let Commissioner Peters?
Yeah.
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
Commissioner Peters, can you hear us? We can't hear you. You're muted.
I am muted. Thank you. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, great.
Welcome.
I'm sorry I'm not there. Go let Matt finish, or do you want me to just do an update and go?
If you want to get on with your day there, why don't you go ahead and give us the update, and then if you want to stick around, you can.
I move to allow Commissioner Peters to appear via.
Okay. Do we need a second on that? Second. Okay. All in favor? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you letting me interrupt you. I apologize. First, I want to give you Supervisor Julie Marcus's gratitude for allowing us to increase our budget to buy 2 new counting machines, given that it was the largest election Pinellas County has ever had, and now the largest recount that Pinellas County has ever had, with more than 520,000 ballots being recounted, and now for the 3rd time with a manual recount today. So she's very grateful, and so am I, because they've been processing more than 40,000 ballots an hour. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. She's very grateful, and hopefully our recount will come out very similar to the regular election. The reason I wanted to give you an update. There's some things that have been going on since prior to Milton. You all know I spoke with the president on the day before Milton hit, And then we sent the letter of request for assistance to help us with some debris removal and some requirements that FEMA had that we wanted waived. And we were very successful with pretty much almost all of the asks that we made. We were given those waivers. And Barry said that they finally gave us some leeway on commercial. So I think we've gotten close to about 80% of what we asked for. But what we also asked for, and the head of resiliency in the White House, we were talking about beach nourishment, and the head of resiliency had told us at the time that she believed there was a workaround for beach nourishment as a result of Milton. She asked us to wait until some of the processing of the hurricane stuff got done. So I started calling her office and contacting her office before the election. Then with no response, I sent an email with no response. I kept calling every day until finally, I think by accident, she might have picked up the phone. So we had a good conversation, and I just wanted to give you an update that we will be speaking with her. Barry will be joining us, Kelly will be joining us, Matt will be joining us on Friday at 3 p.m. to find out if in fact there is a workaround. So maybe I should have waited till we had news, but I'm very optimistic and hopeful that we're going to have a workaround and have some solutions to the lack of sand and elevation of sand on our beaches. Because I'm very confident that that lack of elevation of sand, because I think Kelly told us after Adalia, we were 6 feet less elevation of sand on the beaches. And I believe that's probably why so many homes flooded that had never flooded before. But anyways, I wanted to give you that update that it will be Friday at 3 o'clock. We'll be hosting that call with the White House to see if we have a workaround on beach renourishment. And also the governor's chief of resiliency will be here on Friday morning, and we'll be meeting with him, Kelly and I, and I'm not sure who else will be meeting with him on Friday. So I just wanted you to know that we are not sitting idle. Kelly has been working really hard, has already filed for emergency permits to start putting sand on the beach. So I just want you to know that we're not sitting idle. We are really working diligently and hard, and Kelly and her team are just incredible, and we're working very, very hard to make sure we can get sand replaced on our beaches. And also Senator Scott and Congresswoman Luna and Senator Rubio have also been working really hard over the last year and a half, 2 years to get WRDA changed in Congress to assist us as well. So I just want to give you that update. And then also, when you work on the handbook today, since I can't be there, if you have any questions related to the language in there, if it's okay, if you direct them to Ashley, she is the most knowledgeable about all those procedures that are in the handbook, and she'd be able to answer them appropriately and comprehensively for you, since I won't be there. And that's all I have, and I'll let you get back onto your meeting, and I'll get back to verifying ovals.
Thank you, Commissioner Peters, and don't go blind looking at all those ovals.
Thank you, Commissioner.
All right, have a good one.
Bye.
Okay. All right, Matt.
Okay, thank you. Actually, the next slide has beach nourishment on there, so we were one slide away. There are 4 main legislative priorities. You're familiar with these, but I'm going to go over each one of them real quick. The E911 or Emergency 911 fee is a fee that is charged to phones, cell phones, landline phones per month. It is currently capped at 40 cents. The state law allows it to go to 50 cents. And so this was an FAC policy proposal brought to FAC by Pinellas County and Pasco County. We're looking to have the state raise it back to 50 cents per line. And just some quick numbers based off of fiscal year 23. Fiscal year 23, Pinellas County had $9.6 million in eligible 911 expenses, and the 40 cents per line allocation covered 5.32 million. So that left 4.27 million roughly to be covered by the general fund. So if this were to go back to 50 cents per line, we would be looking at an additional $1.3 to $1.4 million on the good side for the 911 services. And next is local option fuel tax. So this is one of your guiding principles. It is also ripe for discussion, as there was Senate Bill 24 last year by Hooper. that talked about funding brought in from registration for electric vehicles and hybrid plug-ins. Local Government Solutions recently did a study for Pinellas County, and they identified 3 areas that we could approach the state for possible changes in state law. The first would be registration fees for electric and plug-in vehicles, which I just said, Senate Bill 24 from last year. The second is a commercial charging tax for commercial charging stations. And then the third would be indexing our local option fuel tax the same as the state does. So indexing it for the previous 12 months each year moving into the future. Not only is Senator Hooper interested in local option fuel tax discussion, but we also have Senator DeSigley, who will be the chair of the Transportation, Tourism, and Economic Development Committee this year. So that will be an item that both of them may be interested in. You also have FAC, who has 3 policy proposals related to this topic. One is fuel indexing. The second is electric vehicle registration fee, so you see the common themes there. And the third, which is something new, is a tire tax. So the third item, and they will discuss, when I say FAC, I'm sure you're aware, but they will discuss all these at their policy conference in December, and that's in a few weeks. Next slide, let's see. This might have just go to sleep. It might have gone, did it go to sleep?
There it goes.
Okay. All right, the disaster recovery bill. So this is going to be a big one, and this is probably the one we know the least amount about right now. But over the next several weeks, we'll learn more. We know there won't be a special session, at least that's what we're being told, but this will be a policy discussion in Tallahassee. We wrote down some of the different areas that it could encompass. That's housing, that's some sort of revolving loan fund, lost revenue, and then potential shelter hardening. We can tell you that in talks with FDEM, Florida Department of Emergency Management, they also have some creative ideas to help fund some of the challenges that we're facing in the recovery from Helene and Milton. So that will be an item that we need to pay close attention to and obviously start to have discussions about what that funding looks like. And then as Chair Peters mentioned, beach nourishment funding. So this is, of course, a state and federal priority, is what she just went over. From a state level, there's $50 million in fiscal year 25 for the Beach Management Funding Assistance Program, but there's $122 million in requests, and that's statewide. So we're looking to support full funding of the FDEP Beach Management Funding Assistance Program for not just Pinellas County, but for all 67 counties in Florida. And as Chair Peters said, there's a meeting tomorrow with Wes Brooks, who's the Chief Resiliency Officer, and Representative Cheney and Senator DeSigley will also be joining that meeting. And then there's also a call tomorrow afternoon with, I have the title if you want it, it is the Special Assistant to the President, Deputy Homeland Security Advisor for Resilience and Response. So quite a title. Last slide. Appropriation requests. So there's 3 appropriation requests in no particular order. The first is East Lake Road corridor improvements, and you received some information on that this week, but the total project cost is somewhere in the neighborhood of $225 million. Phase 1 is about $125 million. We have already met with Senator Hooper. That is one of his priorities, so we will work with them on an appropriation request for that first bullet. The second bullet is Seminole Junior Warhawks field improvements. You all recently established the MSTU district, which handles operation and maintenance. This would allow field improvements and supplement penny funds for those field improvements. And then last but certainly not least is hurricane shelter hardening. This would allow for 3 generators at special needs shelters. Those shelters are Johns Hopkins Middle, Palm Harbor University, and Dunedin Middle. So those will be our 3 main appropriation requests, and as we move through the process and have sponsors, we'll have a better idea of the exact numbers for each of the requests. So I'm here to answer any questions you may have or listen to comments.
Commissioner Lavelle?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for that presentation. We should approach this session and really this term as one where we're trying to get as many requests and as many appropriations as possible from our delegation. since we have quite a bit of influence and muscle from our local delegation, particularly on the Senate side. Are there any other appropriation requests that we can think of, particularly when it comes to the hurricane recovery aspect? And I know that we can include that in the disaster recovery bill, but I would encourage us to not just rely on that one bill, but also do it through the individual appropriation request process, as well as do it through that process as well as the bill process. And think of as many things as we possibly can, because you don't have an appropriations chairman come around too often from your county.
Commissioner, if I can add, I completely agree. We were really looking at that bill, but I think you make a really good point. One of the things we're trying to get a better handle on is these housing opportunities. And what our future housing needs are is going to be dependent upon what type of federal programs that we can access. And we're currently working on hiring consultants to help us with formulating kind of countywide housing strategies. And so some of that may come into play, but I think to your point, we can try to break it up to where we have different ways of approaching it. We're not real clear yet on where we're going to need to go with that. Part of that will occur as we see the substantial damage determinations come out, and we see how many people are impacted by that and stuff. But yeah, we can take a look at that.
Commissioner Eggers?
Yeah, so I think, it's a great point, Commissioner. God bless you. That's a great point, Commissioner. I think we almost, I don't want to say be shameless in our request this year. We always try to be, reasonable and all of that. This is probably a good year because of all the things that we're going through and because of the influence that we have. The generator thing, one of the long-term things that we've been thinking about is having, I guess, facilities that are not school-related, so that we have step-down shelters after a storm, and folks, some of our special needs folks can go to. So I would also think about maybe where we're thinking about those facilities, maybe including that as well, a generator. For instance, in Palm Harbor, they're talking about building a new facility up there. It's in design stage, and it's supposed to be a step-down shelter. The idea is that we can get the schools back in place and people back to work quicker. So maybe we should look at those locations for generators as well. And then I was just going to comment, anything we can do on the housing opportunities, I think obviously is a huge. I know there are folks that are making arrangements, but there's folks that aren't also. So whatever we can do on that front, I'm not sure what that looks like, but again, as aggressive as we can be. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Renee, got any questions?
I didn't have, that was from when I.
Got it. Couple quick comments. So I know we have a grant into the federal government for Dunedin Causeway for $79 million replacement, which we probably won't know that for 7 or 8 months what the result of that is. But just to keep on our delegation's radar screen, since that is a $100 million project, it would be nice to have some state participation in that, since it does terminate, that road terminates at the end of a state park. So I think if we could at least get that on their radar screen so they could be thinking about that would be a good thing. Do we know if any of these programs that, we don't even know what they look like right now, but for help with housing, would they require any local match? And if they did, would we be able to use any of the affordable housing dollars and penny money for that?
The quick answer is yes. So for instance, we're working on housing areas, and part of this is going to be completely dependent upon state programs and federal programs. Past hurricanes, you've seen appropriations occur, but that occurs from Congress. So what that's going to look like, we're going to present a plan to you here in the next several months, or concepts, but it'll be dependent upon what actually is stood up through appropriation bills. And so that's the fuzziness of it, because we really need to work to better clarify what opportunities are potentially there. and then the timelines for those opportunities, because people are going to make real decisions about elevating homes and things like that. It makes a difference of whether it's a 1-year grant or a 3-year grant, you know, and how much it is. So we're working on that piece. The in terms of what we, you know, can do this year, you know, I think that's the reason we kind of had that placeholder, you know, with the state, because we don't know where, you know, they're going to go with that yet.
On that, follow up on that, if I could. So, do we know what it's going to look like first? Second question is, are we looking at trying to get a hold of either temporarily some land, or we would actually provide temporary housing on, or because we don't have abundance of that? So.
Yeah, temporary housing is kind of a different issue. So that's what you're talking about with, you know, there's going to have to be several strategies. And of course, you know, we govern the unincorporated areas, and each city will have to govern themselves. Some of those will include, for instance, you know, whether somebody puts an RV at their house. Well, it depends on whether your driveway can hold an RV. If you're on the barrier islands, FEMA won't allow a trailer, and because it's a wave attenuation zone, and so there's a lot of requirements that go into making the decision. So it's very site specific on what they can do. But we've also talked, and Kevin's here. I mean, once we have people that have substantial damage determinations, are there temporary things that can be done to where they can have safe structures and stay, you know, potentially within their home while they're waiting on grants and things. Those are things we're looking at. And as this comes out, we're going to try to be as accommodating as we can. But again, it'll be each city making determinations within their city.
Well, can I make
you know,
a
for
comment
us.
about that? I think the city of St. Petersburg can do that. You know, they're big enough and they have their own thing. But there's so many of our cities here who I think are going to rely very closely on the county and what we can help lead on this issue. So I just want to make sure that we don't just like say the city's taking care of themselves. This is a big deal and very difficult to implement. So I would hope that we can, at your city manager discussions, you know, when you get together with them, this is one area I think we need to unify on, because I certainly am not going to try to, like, say, somebody from, like, the city of Clearwater who wants to come to one of those places that we've set up, and they're not allowed to because it's in the unincorporated. I think we need to work.
I don't understand
Okay,
that.
so if we're working just unincorporated, we're
Yeah.
working on housing on unincorporated, are we doing it just for unincorporated residents?
Oh, no.
Okay,
I'm,
all right.
I'm talking about it from a permitting, you know, and occupancy standpoint.
All right, well, they can.
So wherever it is, I'm just saying, but, you know, and we are helping the cities, you know, but not, I don't have an extra 100 people sitting there, but we have gotten state resources, and we've pushed those out to help them. And we did discuss this with the city manager, so we will support them.
Okay, that's fine.
In a coordinated manner.
Yeah, the permitting part I understand, but that's a administrative thing that they can help with if it's in their area. But I think it's from a use standpoint, it's any of our residents in Pinellas County.
Oh, yeah, and I think that when we talk about housing, these grants are going to be countywide housing grants. We got to figure out how to consolidate efforts with all 24 municipalities and how to submit those, and then how do we administer those grants, you know, and things like that. There's a lot to take in on that.
That's kind of what I was hoping. I didn't ask the question properly, but that's kind of what I was hoping to hear, so.
And we've got a, I don't know if it's out on the street yet or not, Lourdes, but, you know, we're looking at bringing a consultant on to help us with administering the programs. That's the way Lee County did it, you know, down south, and so it's on the street. So we're doing a competitive selection, and to be able to bring on additional resources to help us with not only the expertise, but also the manpower to be able to stand up programs like that.
Perfect, thank you.
And by the way, to your other question, Commissioner, we did set aside, like, we capped any new money, any new applications for, like, the Sadowski, the housing funds, the state SHIP funds, I'm sorry, not the SHIP funds. And so we have $7 million that we can administer through that. So we've tried to set aside the money and reserve it for our housing strategies as we get there. And then now we're trying to bring on a thing to say what other opportunities, state or federal, and how do we apply for them, how do we administer them, and everything.
Any other questions? All right, Matt, thank you very much. Okay, next item is the Commission Office Operational Procedure discussion. Ashley sent out, or Chair Peter sent out a draft copy of that, I don't know, probably a month or so ago, for looking for comments, questions. And Commissioner Flowers, I understand you had a comment you wanted to bring up on that?
Well, I just shared in one section that the discussion that we had last year, number one, it took the funds away from our budget that typically purchase tables and whatnot, so we used the law enforcement trust fund for that. And that was the vote and the decision that we would not spend that. And according to Ken Burke, when I spoke with him, even our individual office budgets, we're not supposed to use those funds to purchase a ticket or a table. So that particular section that was in there that spoke to being able to expend funds for those reasons would not be appropriate, in my opinion, unless we took a vote to reinstate, unless we took a vote to reinstate that particular budget line item that was voted on to remove. So that was my interpretation for what happened when we voted against that. I didn't vote against it, but when it was voted against, and the fact that Ken Burke said, based on policy, we can't use our own individual office budgets to purchase tickets or tables or like that to events. So I sent that information to Chair Peters and to Ashley just to draw to attention. That was the only thing that I saw within the documents that were sent to us.
So right now, the only mechanism to do that is the Law Enforcement Trust Fund.
Law Enforcement Trust Fund, unless there's a desire to reinstate that dollar amount that was allotted within the chair's office to, purchase tickets or tables or whatever for commissioners to attend events. Because we did vote to remove that, that was voted to remove that line item. That was the only thing that I had. Thank you.
Commissioner Latvala?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The community fund was like 15 or 10,000, I forget exactly what amount it was that we got rid of. And my thinking was at the time that we got rid of that, that we could still use our office accounts to buy tickets to nonprofit, non-political events. I would be supportive of that policy, to use our office accounts for that. I would not be supportive of reinstituting the community fund, because I don't think we should buy, we should have a fund to buy tables for the county commission.
Well, then I think that needs to be a conversation then with Ken Burke, because he also serves as our auditor and our inspector general. And he said that that's an inappropriate use of those funds.
Even if we voted to have that
Can't-
policy?
I'm just telling you what he said to me, because I specifically called him because I wanted to purchase a table for the NAACP out of my office budget. And that's how I had the conversation with him. So whatever you guys want to do, that's fine. I'm just sharing it. That's what he said.
Because the
I
way
would
that
suggest
the law enforcement trust fund is set up is that any commissioner can ask the sheriff, hey, can you sponsor this table for me? And they could do it. So theoretically, there could be 7 tables at an event for each individual commissioner. And I personally think that's a waste. So there should be some sort of set, thing.
I understand that, and to the best of my knowledge, I don't think we would do that.
I think that.
I don't think we would, if it's an event like PAL, we just went to, very nice event. Law Enforcement Trust Fund paid for that. But anyway, I would just defer then, because I can only say that I had that conversation, again, just trying to make sure that whatever we're doing it right. That is what Ken Burke said to me as the clerk of the court. He is our auditor, he's the inspector general. And so so anyway, if you all want to vote to change it, if it can be voted to change, that certainly can be put forward.
So what would we vote to change? I'm not understanding.
Well, Renee, what you said in your email here, in accordance with Section 2-145C11 of the Pinellas County Code, The Board of County Commissioners specifically authorizes the expenditure of individual county commissioner budget funds in support of nonpartisan civic club or community events. So, I mean, the way I read that, we can.
It's up to you guys. We were asked to read the document. I read the document.
yeah.
I brought that up as a concern because we removed the budget from the overall chair's office. And when I reached out to Ken Burke, he stated that we could not use our individual office operation funds to purchase tickets and things like that for those events. So whatever you all want to do.
Well, Dave, you have any opinion on that?
This is like, you know, transparency in government. I mean, it's like, what hat is the money under, you know? So if there's a specific statute somewhere that says we can't do it, then we can't do it. But I would, you know, like to get maybe that kind of, you know, to Commissioner Flowers' point, and maybe we can get something from Ken letting us know what the basis of that premise is. I don't know why we couldn't, as a group, vote to fund those things. Even if it's periodically, you know, we could say, we're going to buy a table. I'm not saying we're going to do that, but we could say, we're going to buy a table, take $300 out of each person's account. Are we in favor of that?
Right.
You know.
Just be an action item.
Then we're just being transparent to our folks, and to me, that's the best way to do it. You know, it just keeps it clean, keeps it open. It's not like we do it that often, and usually for really good causes. I mean, PAL, argue against PAL and what they do.
Right.
Now, CASA, argue against what, you know, they do. You know, there's so many good causes in our county that our residents would be, oh my gosh, that's nothing to support that, you know. But we're just letting them know as we do it. I don't know.
I mean, that could be under new business.
That's fine, yeah,
You know, commissioners do their.
yeah.
Could just handle it that way.
I could go back to and look at the language and bring that back to you if you like.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Tell you what, if there's a provision within our current ordinance or something like that that we would need to tweak, I could talk to the clerk's office about that.
Okay. And then if we need to update the procedures manual, we can do that. Because it's a living document, so if
Okay.
we need to
I'll
go
ask
back
Chris
and
to do
tweak it
that.
and change it, we can do that pretty much whenever we need to do that. So, sound good? Okay, all right. All right, then next item is agenda briefing.
Okay, Commissioners, we'll start at the top. You've got, obviously, minutes, reports for filings. Any questions on any of the reports or anything received?
I actually had, I'm looking for my agenda here, but I actually had two questions. There was, I think it was a supervisor of elections and also, was it the property appraiser? Somebody was sending back like $11 million. Do we need to do a budget
Is this tax
amendment for
collector?
that?
Chris, is that tax collector? That's as normal, that was planned for him as part of the budget.
So, okay, so we don't have to do a budget amendment for that?
No, we plan on that. He makes estimates. And then what's the supervisor of election?
That was like a couple $100,000.
Oh, so it's, again, same thing.
Okay.
There's planned budget issues.
Got it, okay.
Okay. You got a plat, 10 lot subdivision. First real item is item 13. This is a ranking of firms. This is Fort DeSoto Hospitality. This is for all the stuff out at Fort DeSoto. So five bids received. Contract yields about $301,000 for, you know, rental of kayaks, bicycles, beach umbrellas, laundry services, et cetera, and stuff. Item 14 is ratification of an agreement. This is a memorandum of understanding with Duke. This allows us to broker our power with waste energy facility. This is what Paul briefed you on several months ago.
And that dollar amount in there is over and above the brokering agreement we have with, was it the energy company out of Georgia?
Well, it would be the differential because we, and Chris, do you recall that? And unfortunately, Jill's not here, and either is Paul. Why don't I bring that back to you on Tuesday so I can answer that correctly? And we'll get an answer to that. I'm sure they budgeted for their, what they normally would get, but by brokering it, they're taking it out of Duke and they're putting it out on the open market. So they believe that their rate of return will be higher, obviously, than what they receive from Duke through their standard purchase agreement. but I want to get those figures accurate, okay? So we'll come back to you on that, or we'll send you out a memo in between. Item 15 is a ratification agreement with water quality grant with the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. This had a grant deadline due, and so we submitted and asked for your approval later because otherwise we wouldn't get the grant. So, the item, and this is for wastewater collection systems and pump station generator improvements. Item 16 and 17 are budgets that you approved from the Housing Finance Authority. So you've got the general fund and their land assembly funds. Any question with those? On the regular agenda, item number 18 is the purchase of the tax collector's building down in St. Pete. So this was a build to lease. We did lease it. We have the option to purchase, and this was the predetermined purchase price in the lease. And we think it's advantageous to exercise that option.
Comment. I had put some notes together on this, and like a knucklehead, I left my notes at home. So I'll be talking about this probably on Tuesday.
Okay.
Just wanted to make sure that the amount that's predetermined is within the appraised number. It seemed like the appraised numbers were lower than what the pre-approved price was. So if we can be ready to speak to that on Tuesday, that would be helpful.
Can I have Joe here if you
That's fine.
want
He
to
can
speak to it today?
Hi, good morning. Joe Laurel from Administrative Services. That's correct, Commissioner. The agreed-upon price was based upon the construction cost, the $10.7 million. The actual appraisals did come in lower, and the reason why appraisals were even done is because when we purchase anything, that's typically the process, you get it appraised. But the actual purchase price was pre-established years ago, the $10.7 million.
Okay. And this is basically an option for us.
This is an option for us.
Right, exactly.
So did we talk to them about adjusting that price?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I
absolutely
know.
right, yeah.
I'm only laughing because we've been going back and forth with them, and I know he's reached out to some, at least one commissioner that's not here, but he believes the building's worth a lot more. I've had conversations with him. So.
Okay. All right. All right, appreciate that. Anyway, we can chat a little bit more about it on Tuesday. Thank you.
Item 19 is Affordable Housing Program. Program recommendation for Oasis at Bayside. This is, we're going to be purchasing the underlying land. This is 304 multifamily units, and this is in Largo. You can see the breakdown of the units within your packet. I think you were briefed individually on this, yes? Item 20 is an agreement with 211 Tampa Bay Cares. This is their call center operations. This is our ongoing contract with them, $563,000.
Just comment. Maybe with some of the two new commissioners, maybe we could have a little synopsis of what 211 does again, and then how that dovetails with some of the other work that we're doing, Care About Me and that kind of thing. Just making sure that we're aligning and not duplicating. So
Yeah, we're definitely not duplicating. The 211 does a variety of things. They have a variety of funding sources. Lourdes can come back to you. We could actually do a work session on that. There's a lot there. We did look at, should we combine that with the mental health, initiative, but they're two very different things, and it's a different type of call center with the type of staffing and the expertise and things like that. Could we combine those in the future? Possibly. Okay. There was actually an initiative with the foundation to do a review of what 211 does, and is there different ways of doing that, and that for a variety of reasons never occurred. But we could certainly give you an update on the structure of 211 and the different things that they do.
yeah, that would be good. On Tuesday.
Oh, this Tuesday?
Yeah, I'd like to just hear.
Okay.
Again, not
we know.
the in-depth stuff, okay? But I would, because we're talking about doing a workshop to look
Yeah,
at it.
okay.
That's a
No.
different issue. Yeah.
No, we'll do it on Tuesday. We know their operation. There's
Well, I know their operation as well, so I just want to make sure everybody knows their operation.
several different pieces, and Lourdes would be happy to provide that.
Thank you.
Item 21 is an increase. This is the Haggerty Consulting Services. This was pre-bid, back basically to process all of our federal money and get reimbursements and things like that for hurricanes. It was done way before the hurricanes. Unfortunately, we're using that service. We want to bump that up because we continue to use them. So this is a not to exceed amount. It's not what we will use. But we're continuing to use them for their expertise. We are bidding out services, so once those new contracts would come in, this would go off, but this allows us continuity to be able to continue to explore all these various things we've been talking about and use them to help us set those programs up.
It says that it's coming out of reserves, is that general fund reserves?
Yeah. Some of it will be reimbursed, some of it will not be. Okay.
Commissioner Riders?
Yeah, this one I choked on. This is a lot.
It is.
I mean, when we got the original one, I guess it was $1 million, because this is a plus 5.4 million.
Yep.
So now we're up to 6.4. Do we anticipate using this?
No, not all of it, but we don't know. How much we're going to spend on not only processing all of our reimbursables, and I could have Chris speak to some of this. Come on up, Chris. But we're using them for a variety of things. When we made the request, and I'll give you some examples. Here, we're having to separate waste by hurricane and by Milton, and so we have 6 piles, and then we can't collect commercial. So we're asking for waivers. Well, we don't have that expertise to understand what's actually occurred in past hurricanes. They had the expertise to say, here's what other places have done, here's what the federal government can do, here's what the president has authority to do, here's what would require congressional acts. So they do the research and bring us back structures to where we can navigate this very complex federal system. So they've been invaluable as we've tried to, to stand up programs and do certain things. As we're looking at housing, for instance, again, those are similar examples where we're trying to navigate what the state can do, what they did, with past hurricanes, what happened at the federal government. So we've used them in a variety of manners, and
So again,
that we never anticipated.
Okay, I understand. 2 things. And how do we monitor their usage, like by whatever they're using it for? Because it sounds like it's just a big old bucket that we can just use all. I'd like to follow it more.
Yeah.
And why do we have to do the whole 5.4 at one time? Why can't we do 2.5 or 2, and then come back and give us an update on how it's going, what they're doing, and they need 2 more million, or something.
Fair question.
Good morning, Commissioner. Chris Rose, Office of Management and Budget. First of all, I know every dime that we have worked on with Haggerty. We are keeping very good track of this. Second, for the first 90 days under Helene and 120 days under Milton, protective measures is 100% reimbursed. So almost all of it just depends on how far we go, but it is 100% reimbursed today still under this contract, under FEMA.
This contract is,
How much have we spent, though? Because we had 1.2 million. I think that goes to the point.
Yeah, we've spent about 1.8 million so far. We do not think we're going to spend the whole 6.4, but we put a work order in, a purchase order in for 5.4 million that we want FEMA to see. And we don't want to reduce that right now. We want them to see that as we go through the reimbursement process. So even though we don't think we'll spend it all, we're going to hold that for now and keep it in front of FEMA.
okay, but I think it would be good to maybe give us a monthly or bi-monthly update to see how that's going, how the relationship is evolving and that kind of thing. Even though we've given that authority, I'd like to at least be able to follow the bouncing ball, so to speak.
And if I could correct
If
one.
we can include that in my delegated report, that way we can break down the tasks, so you can see the tasks that we're giving them and the cost for those tasks. And those are the internal controls that we've worked on, and so that way there's transparency and you can see everything that we're asking them to do.
And if I could correct one thing, I said spent, committed. We haven't spent even what we've committed with them. We've signed purchase orders up to 1.8. We've not yet spent all of that because some of it is still to come.
Well, you have a picture in your mind about every penny that's been spent. So if you could translate some of that over, the next months or two, just so we get a feel for what is actually being garnered.
Yes, sir.
And you're saying in these first 4 months that these fees are 100% reimbursable?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next item's a little thing called baseball stadium, and I don't think there'll be any discussion.
Commissioner Lavalley?
Just so you know, I'm going to have a lot of questions, and I will probably seek to delay this yet again until the Rays say where they will be playing their games. And I know part of it is not their fault, but I don't believe we should be using Pinellas tax dollars for them to play elsewhere.
So we do have the ability to delay that and still meet the deadline, correct?
Yes, if the commissioners choose to delay this until the December meeting, you certainly can do that. Just this past week, I did have initial conversations with both the city and the team. Obviously, there's a lot of balls in the air, so,
Really?
so, and so I don't have clarity on, what's going to occur. I mean, you're reading in the paper and, with the city, a lot of the things that they're dealing with, most of it's outside of our issues, doesn't impact this per se. It's between the city and the team, and I think that's the things that they're trying to work through.
Dave was before
Go
me.
ahead.
So my question was going to be, which you just answered, you have at least had some preliminary conversations with the Rays. Do they intend to have representatives here at our meeting on the 19th? I think the invitation should be extended so that they can answer and not our staff try to,
I'd be happy to extend that invitation.
yeah. Because I don't think it's not fair to you or anybody else from the county to try to respond on their behalf. I think that, they should have representation. We're talking a lot of money. And, they talked to us when they wanted the money. They need to communicate with us now. So just, thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, and again, no pun intended, but I don't want to take the eye off the ball, which was the original deal to begin with and what the funding is all about. So the part about where they're going to play is important. I mean, it was important even to those commissioners at the last meeting who voted for the deal back in August. So that's an important component to this. And I would think they would have reached out to us to be clear on that. To your point at the last meeting, at least talk to us about that piece of it. Doesn't mean that'll change how I vote if they come in and say, we're going to, pick Clearwater Stadium. Well, I think that's a great thing, but it doesn't necessarily mean that, again, I think it gets back to the enormity of the deal, the questions that we had at the time about where this, all of the questions we had at the time. I'm not going to bring it all back up today, but so it's double issues here, so.
Yeah, radio silence does not help. Commissioner Lavalley?
And just to echo Commissioner Eggers' point, I did not support the deal. I still think the deal was not good for our taxpayers. Certainly was not good for the taxpayers in St. Petersburg. But having said that, the Rays are in quite the bind, and they're going to have to play somewhere. And, or they just sell the team and move or whatever. And I'm not going to say, you vote or you play in Dunedin or you play in Clearwater, and I'm a yes. But they play in Hillsborough, I'm a no. So that, they can do the math how they want to do the math. If their motto was here to stay, well, they have the opportunity now to show that they're committed to Pinellas County when they were standing up at that podium asking for $615 million over the next 30 years. So I'll leave it at that.
Again, as we talk, I keep thinking of things and keep wanting to add things to this conversation. But, if this had been a conversation of, I'm philosophically against money going to stadiums, and there are people who feel that way, I would have said that as well. But what I did say back then was I was very unclear. I was clear about the uncertainty of what we're left with, especially as it relates to our beaches. And at the same time, it's a lot of money. I know they're getting risk with it too, but they're also getting all the income off the stadium, all the income off the development. And again, I don't want to get into that part of it, but just to remind everybody that this is a stadium where and I've said it to the press, they didn't print it, I've said it publicly, if there was a $400 million change in their position on that stadium, I might look at things differently, because then it talks about the point is they're paying for the stadium and they're getting all the revenue. Here's the land, develop all you want, you get all the money from it. We get taxes from it. It can be a much cozier, resident-friendly deal. And I think that's something that, again, I just think is important to separate people and how they feel about things, because there's a continuum of positions on this, and I wanted to be very clear before. I tried to be clear to the press. They didn't print it, but I wanted to be clear again that there's a continuum of support here. We have to see if we can eventually get to that. But, again, that's a big challenge, so.
Commissioner Lafell?
I don't like giving my friend the last word, but he mentioned something that led me down another tangent, and that is something that has irked me. This deal has had many delays, some of which were the Rays doing when they were flirting with Hillsborough County, when they were trying to, go elsewhere, and then when they were talking with Barry, trying to get the best deal possible for their franchise. And I want to give our administrator credit for negotiating the best deal that he thought was possible to keep them in Pinellas County. And there were delays on their end. There certainly have been delays on City Council's end. They delayed several times for several months. And so I don't believe that this county commission should be rushed in any way, shape, or form. In July, Commissioner Eggers asked for a delay of 1 month for a new proposal, and for a new appraisal on the land. He was basically smiled at, and while it was voted 5-2. And so, if we want to take our time, we can take our time. I don't think we should be rushed, and if the bonds fall through, so be it. But I think at the end of the day, we're a separate body. We're the county commission. We don't answer to the Rays. We don't answer to the city of St. Petersburg. And certainly the hurricane threw a wrench into things, but it also changed priorities for the county and for our residents. People that lost businesses on the beach, people that lost their house, don't care about the Tampa Bay Rays at the moment. And so I think we should, be mindful of that and take our time and be, diligent to our residents.
Yeah. I can't let him have the last word. So.
Well, I'm not going to let either one of you have a last word.
Good point. Yeah, I think there's no point in being dictated by a calendar, right? I think, the time frame that we choose to move on is the time frame we choose to move on. And if it ultimately means that we don't make the March deadline, then we don't, we just have to see where we're at. So I think we just need to carefully go through this and see where we're at, but no rush.
All right, just a slightly different viewpoint. And I agree with everything that's been said. The thing that sort of irks me the most is just the fact that they haven't, and they don't have a lot of answers yet, but the fact that they haven't really been talking to us about what their intentions are over the next 3 years is what concerns me. But the basic part of the deal that I voted on a few months ago, I still believe in. And just to remind everybody that TDC funds, we cannot rebuild people's homes or rebuild people's businesses with TDC funds. They're highly restricted. We can't pave roads with them, we can't pay first responders with them, but we can fund sports facilities with them. And we will recover from these hurricanes. We will. And for decades after Helene and Milton are long in our rearview mirror, that development is going to continue to spin off general fund dollars to this county that does benefit our residents that we're not getting today. So I just want to make sure that we're also considering the long view on this and that we're not making a knee-jerk reaction decision based on the trouble and strife that we're dealing with right now. We will get through this. We will recover from this. We're talking about a generational development in St. Pete. So that's just kind of my perspective on that. And I just want us to just kind of keep that in mind as we continue to have those discussions. So, with that, is there anything else on this subject? No, I'm shutting it down. Done. Last word.
Last word. All right. On to item 24. This is an agreement with Advanced Traffic Management. This is for the State Route 60 Smart Corridor Project, $640,000. Item number 25 is the Brownfield Site Rehabilitation. This is an agreement with the Environmental Protection Agency for Danville's Central Historic Landfill Site. This would be, funds we're trying to recoup. Item 26 is County Incentive Grant Program, Florida Department of Transportation. All of this is for the Forest Lakes. So the last phase of Forest Lakes up in Oldsmar. I only made it to this part where I was underlining my things. So now I'm gonna, I didn't get everything underlined this morning. So the item 27 is a shared use motorized transportation agreement with Florida Department of Transportation. This is our last, or not our last, but our south gap from 126 North to Almerton Road. Item 28 is request for a public hearing appeal for the issuance of a county dredge permit. Under our ordinance, I don't know if Joy, if you want to address this, but this people have the ability to appeal to the commission.
They do. This is, if you will recall, and it was actually the same property. There's a dispute among neighbors going on there. I believe you originally did decide to hear the appeal of the dock permit. This is on the dredge and fill permit. Your code, what it does is it requires them to come and ask you to hear an appeal before you as a public hearing. You don't have to do that if you do not wish to. We did receive a request from an attorney for the applicant requesting that you all delay action on determining whether you want to hear the appeal, or in the alternative, if you decide you want to hear the appeal, to set the appeal out at least 90 days. There's some information in there relating to hurricane damage for the people that are doing the appeal, the representative of those folks, so it's something that we can share with you. But again, this is just simply to decide if you want to hear the appeal, not the appeal itself.
Okay. Do we have to decide when the appeal will be heard at that?
Normally what you guys would do is
Assuming
just
we-
decide to
assuming we
hear
agree.
it and maybe say it would be 30 days out or 60 days out or something of that nature. But I think if you wanted to move forward and say you were going to hear the appeal, I would, if you wanted to grant the request, you could, tell staff to set it out 90 days. You don't, when you hear these, typically say we're going to hear it on this particular date. The times when we ask you all to do a particular date, it's usually a continuance to a date certain, so we don't have to re-advertise it and undertake that expense. Here you would just, be setting the hearing. So.
Thank you. Question?
So they're actually asking for a delay. Their preference would be to have a delay on the decision that they're asking for in this item.
What they request, just to be specific, and maybe I didn't explain it great, to delay your action here to decide whether you wish to hear
Yeah,
the appeal,
okay, that's
or in
fine.
the alternative, if you decide to hear it, to set it out at least 90 days.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Item 29 is local agency grant application with Ford Pinellas. This relates to the Sunset Point Road improvement. Item 30 is agreement with Rainbow Energy Marketing Corporation. This is for the power purchase agreement with solid waste. what I was thinking from before. I'm gonna clarify this and what we previously went over before Tuesday. So let me clarify those before Tuesday. And by the way, Jill is out ill today, so.
We hope she gets better.
She's probably at home saying, I'm not there to correct him. I'm surprised I don't have text. I'm surprised I don't have texts coming in saying what Barry meant to say. Yeah, but no, this is, that's on the power purchase. It's not his area. I'd have Jeremy come up, but he would be lost. Item 31 is an agreement with laboratory testing equipment. This is purchasing various types of things. This is Jeremy's area. If you have any questions. Item 32 is an amendment. This is on a Resilient Florida grant program for our manufactured homes. So 2 no-cost changes.
Under item number 33, we're asking for authority to file suit in the case that you see there. This is related to the property that you all are familiar with that has been having some flooding issues, not just from the hurricanes, but even prior. So this would be to follow up with the folks that that are responsible for maintaining that pump up there that does not regularly operate. Got it. And I do not currently intend on having any reports.
And just while we're on that item, we also intend on following through with looking at long-term solutions up there. So, I will have county administrator's report. I think the chair requested that we do a storm report at the beginning of the meeting, and so if we'll be prepared to do that either wherever we want at the beginning of the meeting or under county administrator's report. And we'll have a full report. We're going to talk about debris. We're also going to talk about substantial damage and where we're going with that in that process. And Kevin will be prepared to go through that in detail. Here you have appointments to Emergency Medical Services Control Board and appointments to the Health Facilities Authority. Reappointment. And then selection of the chair and the vice chair. And just for anybody reading, that's so the chair-elect can bring back a proposed slate for all the different committees and different things that the commissioners set on outside of these meetings, which are extensive.
Just a quick comment. Yes. I was sensitive to the fact that a couple letters went out from my colleagues about this. I was going to respond, and I thought, well, just putting my statement out there about what I am thinking might be kind of thought of as a response to what was out there, and it really wasn't, but I felt like a technicality, which I talked to the county attorney, and she said, just bring it here in a public meeting, and so that's why I'm doing it here. Usually the first person out is fine, but, you know, after that it gets a little, I don't know if you had any comments on that, just for future, okay. So that's all, and I just wanted, I put that letter in front of everybody for my interest in being the vice chair next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We have some public hearings. So item number 40 is a countywide map amendment from public, semi-public to retail and services, 2.28 acres. Let's see. It was recommended by the Planners Advisory Board. Doesn't look like there's any opposition. So updates within your packet. Item 41 is this is City of St. Petersburg. This is being continued to the December 17th meeting. Same thing for item 42. So these have already been advertised, but the request is to continue them. Item 43 is brownfield area designation for the Rainbow Village green reuse area. This designation just helps them and potentially with any grants or things that they could do. Item 44 is an amendment to the county code, the lobbying modifications. Now, if Jewel had any comments on this?
This was something that we talked about earlier at a work session like this. You were going to hear it previously, and the notice was mistakenly done for a different time of the day than it would have been heard. But this really is just intended to further streamline your ordinance. We're giving you the option. There is some optional language in there on a particular issue that's come up related to the definition of lobbyist, so that we do have some optional language in the backup materials, not written into the ordinance itself, that you may want to take a look at prior to Tuesday, that simply states that when you have and this is something that we've talked about on a number of occasions. The example I will give is if you have a president of a nonprofit who might be coming forward and asking you for TDC funding, we've always said, no, that person needs to register as a lobbyist because they are paid by their organization, and your ordinance currently cues on whether the person is paid or not. We do have some language in there that would exempt people that are in-house employees whose regular job duties are not lobbying. That seems to be an issue that we have a discussion about. So there are some decision points in there if you all want to read through the background that's in there. It's not a lot of material. That's really the primary one. But otherwise, I know that Amanda Coffey on my staff worked with the clerk who really administers this ordinance for you, just to make some clarifications as to like end of year reporting and things of that nature. So it's not a big change substantively, other than those couple of decision points that we put in there for you.
Just a quick question. You made a comment about these 501c3s, they're paid employees that come and talk to us. If board members come from those same organizations without that person, is that considered a lobbying? I mean, they're lobbying, but they're not paid.
Your ordinance currently is geared really just towards whether they are compensated to lobby you. So if it's an unpaid member of a board of directors, they would not currently be covered. For instance, I suspect that many of you might hear from homeowners associations on occasion. When you're talking about unpaid members of a homeowners association board, they wouldn't be currently covered by the ordinance already. And again, that decision point kind of takes you back to someone who is a paid lobbyist, meaning their job is specifically to lobby. They're not somebody who, as part of their job, lobbies. But we've also given language in there that would cover somebody who, let's just say the Rays, you all have heard from them quite a bit. One of the examples that we gave you where somebody would be covered that's being paid by that organization is if they are paid to lobby, and that is their job function within the organization. So we tried to kind of give some caveats in there. But no, currently, if you're an unpaid member of a board of directors, you're not required to lobby. It's only those paid individuals.
And paid individuals that are paid to lobby. So, I mean.
That's one of the decision points we've given you.
Okay.
Your ordinance does not currently say paid to lobby. It just says compensated. And as part of that compensation, they are coming to advocate to you to either pass or defeat some sort of measure. This has come up in the past, just to give you some examples. We've largely seen it in the tourist development area. A couple of examples that I can recall in the past where this has been an issue. When the Blue Jays were lobbying you all for money, we requested, and they did, members of their organization who were not paid lobbyists did eventually register as lobbyists. Another time this came up in the much more distant past, when the Clearwater Marine Aquarium was lobbying you all for money, probably maybe 10 years ago, it was quite a while ago. Their executive director and some others, we requested that they go ahead and register because they were paid by the organization and yet were coming to ask you for money. So it's a distinction that's maybe not as clear as I'm explaining it, but we would take those folks out of the realm of needing to lobby, where they could be paid by their organization to come and ask you for money. But if they hire somebody specifically to lobby you for that allocation, they would still need to register.
All right, so let's go back just for a minute. What the purpose of registration, the purpose of even having this?
Transparency.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. And so, again, I'm not trying to be overly onerous on these organizations, but when they come and talk to us, they're clearly lobbying. I mean, I'm talking about board members. I'm talking about, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, that they're passionately involved with the group, but our residents need to understand and know that these folks are doing that. I mean, I don't know why we wouldn't necessarily include board members that are coming specifically to lobby. Now, again, they could come to just talk to you a little bit about what the organization is doing. They're not lobby specific. They're not specifically lobbying for a project. I don't know. That's just if the purpose is to be transparent, then maybe that's something that we ought to think about. I don't know.
And this is a topic that comes up as a matter of discussion.
Yeah.
Often here, but often when I'm talking individually to you or your aides as to whether somebody might need to register, and then log the meeting. If they wish to come and advocate that you give them a grant or advocate that you adopt an ordinance. I would say advocate on some of your land use cases, but when they're zoning cases, they can't come and talk to you anyway because they're quasi-judicial. Your ordinance does not currently exempt those folks. So let's just say the CEO of a nonprofit that is paid in that position, your ordinance does not currently exempt them, and the way that it's written does not, the way that the proposal is written does not currently exempt them. However, Amanda, after she came and presented here and this topic was discussed, and it's been months ago, it has been many months that you've talked about it, we did include some backup material here that gave you language you could use if you wish to make that change.
Quick question on that. So a company that does business with governments but doesn't currently do business with the county wants to come and meet with me or any other commissioner to introduce their company. But there's no active bid out there. They're just want us to know who they are and what they do. Would they be required to register as a lobbyist?
No,
No?
no. I see those quite frequently because I get copied on the emails that come through. And I see that folks will frequently do that. If they genuinely are just coming to say, hi, you know, I'm Jewel White, I'm the new CEO of, you know, I don't know, pick a company, then no. But if they show up and say, hi, I'm Jewel White, and by the way, you know, these are some of the things I'd really like to see you do, there's a fine line in there that, you know, oftentimes I would say sometimes it might just be better off to go ahead and register so that you're not limited in what you can have discussions about in those meetings, because the whole point is transparency. This hasn't been taken up by the CRC in a little while, but back in 2010 it was. And back in 2010, some of the changes that you've already seen in this ordinance where it was migrated to an online platform, you know, maybe back in 2010, you know, it didn't seem as crazy as it would today to not be already online. We made it a lot easier. We made it easier for folks to register as a lobbyist, to log the meetings. One thing I'll say that we often have a discussion about, there is no fee to register or to log meetings. This is just for transparency. Back in 2010, what your CRC recommended is that everybody on the commission get copied on those emails when meetings are logged. I hope that is happening. I know that we've worked with, I get copied on them too, so I see those. So we all know what you're doing. I think that probably Barry and some other folks get copied on these. So that's the whole point, is transparency. So, I mean, much of this is there to let people know what's going on. I know that I've talked with Ashley as far as trying to, and Amanda as far as trying to make the calendar that gets generated more useful as far as how the public might be able to view it. So your staff is looking into some of the behind-the-scene things to accomplish that transparency. But that's the whole purpose of the ordinance. And it's perfectly legitimate to make people register to come and see you. There's case law on that. So I think it's really just a decision for you. But Commissioner Eggers, that's a point that comes up frequently. Yeah. I'm paid, but I'm not a lobbyist. You know, I hear that quite frequently. And, you know, I've had discussions with folks that have come to you asking for quite a bit of money before in the past. And I'm not talking about anything currently before you. And oftentimes I say to folks, you know, lobbyist is not a bad word. It's not bad to come and ask the commission for money. Lots and lots and lots of people do it. Let's just make sure that we're upfront about it.
Yeah, I think, you know, everybody who comes and talks to us, you know, isn't coming just for fun. They're usually coming for information in the hope of someday maybe doing business. So, and it's not a painful process, to your point. It's really straightforward. It's pretty simple. And if you erred on the side of just registering, it doesn't hurt anybody, anything, and it's transparent. And I'm also glad you said that, you know, lobbyist isn't a bad word, since we have one in the room. We just want to make sure she knows that we don't think that way.
No,
but we just
certainly.
want to make sure that our residents see what's going on here.
And also, just to one thing that you just said, it doesn't have to be lobbying you for money. It just has to be lobbying you to advocate for the passage or defeat of some measure coming before you.
All right, thank you.
Item 45 is an ordinance amending the tourist development plan, the breakdowns within your packet. These are things that the TDC is recommending. The most significant is increasing the elite event funding from $2 million to $3 million, and then adding public facilities category. Item 46 is an ordinance amending the code. This relates to the ad valorem tax exemption, which was approved through referendum. Then that our current exemption expired. This changes the expiration date. So then each project comes back before you. Item 47, this is electing not to exempt properties under the Live Local Act, as we talked to you about previously. So this would be not exempting automatically the 80 to 120. And so, you know, under state law, up to 80% is automatic, but this would not automatically exempting providing tax exemption for projects 80 to 120.
So would that require then the developer to come and ask for that?
We're going to have a presentation. I don't think they can. This is under state law, so they would not qualify for property tax exemption for the 80 to the 120. They can apply for funds from us, and so that would be what we would use our affordable housing funds for.
Got it. This is what Pasco did, correct?
This is what Pasco. Okay. Yes. Item 48 is modification to the budget, so you can see the breakdown within your packet. Different changes. The most notably is relating to Hurricane Helene, and that's $27 million. The others are just small changes within their budget, unanticipated revenues, things like that. Item 49 is capital budget realigned. First off, I got good news that all the projects have been, what do we call it? What's the right term that we have to have them under? Obligated. So all of our projects are obligated. Now we have to finish construction by December of 26. And,
December 26th of this year?
no, December of
26.
2026.
Okay, I thought you said December 26th. I'm like, really?
Oh, no. We got some work to do. All the projects have to be obligated, and that's a federal requirement. All of our projects are there. All the projects are green now, so we're confident that the projects we have, we can actually deliver and get built. Okay. And then the final one is the second part, and that's the baseball stadium discussions. So there's two parts, one on the regular agenda, one on this. Okay. And that completes the agenda.
If I could, Mr.
Yes.
Acting Chair. I know that we've spoken to a couple of you, Ian, and our new commissioners as well, that if your term is coming up new, so Commissioners Latvala and Flowers too, if you can be prepared, if possible, to make your appointment to the LPA on Tuesday. We have a hearing before that body in December that we really want to make sure that we can get a quorum for to keep some matters moving forward that we need to, some of which are related to the hurricane that we want to keep moving.
Yeah.
We've had a little bit of a problem, it sounds like, with quorum there lately, so any of you out that can make that appointment on Tuesday, it would be much, much appreciated.
Got it.
I've
Okay.
already responded and shared my name with Ashley.
Oh, good. All right. Do we have, Jim, do you happen to know where the roads to leave here are not all messed up? Okay, got it. All right, thank you very much. And I do want to thank Deputy Winnick and Deputy Butterfield for always being here and always keeping us safe. So unless there's anything else, we are adjourned. We'll see you all on Monday night.